Welcome back to the Turbosubdomains tutorial series. In this video, we'll explore the content manipulation system. Specifically, we'll focus on overlays. The content manipulation system is a powerful feature. It enhances your published articles with four key components: overlays, static blocks, header and footer customization, and URL redirects. First, we'll dive deep into overlays. Let's get started. Understanding overlays. Turbosubdomains plugin includes a sophisticated overlay feature. This gives you complete control over pop-up displays on your website. These overlays can be triggered based on multiple conditions: time spent on page, scroll depth, exit intent detection, or custom rules you define. The overlay system is organized into three main sections. First, overlay placements. This is where you configure display settings. Second, add new overlay placement. This is where you create overlays with text or media content. And third, manage overlays, your central dashboard for creating, viewing, and managing the overlays. Let's explore these sections step by step. We'll start with creating and managing overlays. Creating your first overlay. Navigate to the Manage Overlays tab. Click the Add New Overlay button. Now, add a title for your overlay in the title field. This helps you identify it later in your dashboard. Next, add your content in the content editor. This is where you compose the message your visitors will see. Once you're satisfied with your overlay, click the Publish button to save it. Your newly created overlay now appears in the Manage Overlays dashboard. All your overlays are stored here. You can edit any overlay by clicking on it, or delete overlays you no longer need. It's that simple. Your overlay is now ready to be deployed through an overlay placement. Configuring overlay placements. Let's create an overlay placement to display our overlay on the website. Navigate to the Add or Edit Overlay Placements section. Start by entering a descriptive title. Choose something that clearly identifies this placement's purpose. You can also add a description, similar to how you describe backlink campaigns. Let me fill in both fields as an example. If you use tags for organization, add one here. This helps you categorize and filter placements later. Now, set the status of this overlay placement. By default, it's set to inactive. This means even after creating this placement, it won't display on your site. Let's change the status from inactive to active. This makes it go live. Overlay rotation feature. The next important feature is rotation. Enable rotation to display different overlays randomly from a pool you define. You can add multiple overlays to this placement using the plus button. When using multiple overlays, you can set the display percentage for each one. For example, you might want one overlay to appear 20% of the time, and another 80%. For each overlay in the rotation, select it from the drop-down menu. You can also specify a target URL. This is the landing page when users click the overlay. This URL overrides any link rotation settings you configure in the Overlay Links section later. If you don't want to rotate overlays, there's another option. You can show just one overlay consistently. Simply disable rotation using this checkbox. Then select your overlay from the drop-down. For this demonstration, we'll use two overlays in rotation. The Spring Sale overlay will display 20% of the time, with a target URL of facebook.com. The New Product Launch overlay will display 80% of the time, with a target URL of youtube.com. Display triggers and conditions. Now let's configure when and how your overlays appear. These display triggers give you precise control over user experience. The Display After Time on Page option sets a delay in seconds. The overlay appears only after a visitor has been on the page for at least that duration. In this example, setting it to 10 seconds means the overlay appears 10 seconds after the page loads. If you want the overlay to display immediately when the page loads, simply leave this field blank. The display after page scroll option triggers the overlay based on scroll depth. Enter a percentage value. For example, entering 20 means the overlay displays when the user scrolls down 20% of the page. This works best on longer articles. For pages with shorter content, this trigger may not be as noticeable. The display overlay when user intends to exit condition is particularly effective. The overlay appears when the user moves their mouse toward the top of the browser window. This typically indicates they're about to close the tab or navigate away. The overlay system detects this behavior and shows the overlay if this option is enabled. You can toggle this feature on or off using this checkbox. The display after period of inactivity condition shows the overlay when there's no scrolling or keyboard activity. Set a time period in seconds. If the user remains inactive on the page for this duration, the overlay appears automatically. Display duration and appearance. The display duration controls how long an overlay remains visible on screen. Enter a value in seconds to automatically close the overlay after that time period. If you want the overlay to stay visible indefinitely until the user manually closes it, leave this field empty. Under size and appearance, you can set the overlay dimensions. Choose from 3 preset sizes: small, medium, or large. For display frequency, you have 3 options. Show all of the time means the overlay appears every time the trigger conditions are met. Once per session means it displays only once during a user's browsing session. Once per browser means it displays only once, even across multiple sessions until the user clears their browser cookies. You can also customize the overlay background color. Use the Color Selector tool to choose any color. Pick something that matches your brand or design preferences. Close options and user control. Close options determine how users can dismiss your overlay. The default option includes a close button in the top right corner of the overlay. The second option allows users to close the overlay by clicking anywhere outside the overlay box. Enable this option using the checkbox. If you want force user interaction, there's another option. You can ensure they engage with your overlay content. You can hide the close button entirely using this option. This requires users to click on a link within the overlay to proceed. Use this carefully. Can impact user experience. Location targeting. Location targeting is a powerful feature. Controls where your overlays appear. There are 5 targeting options available in this drop-down. Whole site displays the overlay across your entire website, including the root domain and all subdomains. Root domain only restricts the overlay to just your main domain. All subdomains shows the overlay only on subdomain pages. Selected subdomains gives you precise control. You can choose specific subdomains, and selected posts allows you to target individual posts or pages. When you select the Selected Subdomains option, a subdomain selection interface appears on the right side of the screen. If you choose selected posts, you'll see both the subdomain selection box and a post selection box, similar to the interface used in backlink campaign configuration. Choose the targeting option that best fits your campaign goals. Overlay links configuration. If overlay rotation is disabled, you'll need to enter the overlay link URL in this field. You can use multiple URLs, each on a separate line. You can also assign a percentage share to each URL. This controls how often each link is used. For example, as shown here, you can enter multiple links with percentage values. Percentage numbers are optional. If you don't include percentages, each URL will have an equal chance of being selected. A/B testing. Final option is A/B testing. Enable this feature to test two different overlays and compare their performance. This helps you identify which overlay resonates better with your audience, allowing you to optimize for better results. Overlay Placements Dashboard. Let's look at the Overlay Placements dashboard. All your created overlay placements are listed here in a comprehensive table. The first column shows the title, tags, overlay type, and overlay URL. Next, you'll see the status, indicating whether the placement is active or inactive. The Display Conditions column summarizes your trigger settings. You'll also see the overlay size, location targeting, creation date, and whether A/B testing is enabled. At the end of each row, you have quick access to edit and delete options. This dashboard is your central hub for managing all overlay placements efficiently. Let's now see how the overlay looks. Here is an article. Let's refresh it and see the overlay and wait for 10 seconds as we have set the 10 seconds delay to show the overlay. Here you see the overlay is working perfectly. And that's a complete overview of the overlay system in Turbosubdomains. You now know how to create overlays, configure display triggers, set targeting options, and manage everything from the dashboard. Let's explore static blocks and how to use them effectively in your Turbosubdomains setup. Static blocks help you optimize the article by inserting relevant information, calls to action, or promotional content at strategic positions within your content. Static blocks function similarly to overlays, but with one key difference. Instead of displaying as pop-ups, static blocks insert text directly into your article content. Position where this block appears depends on the location settings you configure. When creating the static block placement, let's dive in and learn how to create and manage static blocks. Static block section has 3 tabs similar to the overlay section. First, static block placements, where you can manage all your static block placements. Second, add or edit placement, where we can add a new placement or edit an existing one. And third, manage static blocks, where we can create new static blocks and manage them. Process for creating a static block is identical to what we covered for overlays in the previous video. Let's now create a new static block. Navigate to the Manage Static Block section. Click the Add New Static Block button. This opens a new editor tab where you can compose your static block. Enter a title in the title field. This helps you identify the block later in your dashboard. Next, add your content in the content editor. This is the text that will be inserted into your articles. Once you're satisfied with your content, click the Publish button to save your static block. The newly created static block now appears in the Manage Static Block section. Your static block is now ready to be deployed through a static block placement. All your static blocks are stored here for easy access. You can edit or delete any block as needed. Configuring static block placements. Now let's create a static block placement. This determines where and how your static block appears on your website. Process is very similar to what we covered for overlay placements. Start by adding a title. This field is mandatory, so make sure to enter a descriptive title that helps you identify this placement. The description and tags fields are optional. Use them if you want to add additional context or organize your placements more effectively. Next, set the status of this placement. You can choose inactive or active from this drop-down menu. By default, new placements are set to inactive, so they won't appear on your site until you activate them. Let's make this one active. Controlling block position. Now we come to a crucial setting: the position of your static block. This number determines exactly where the block will be inserted within your article content. If you enter 0, the static block will be placed above the first paragraph of the original content. Essentially, it becomes the opening element of your article. If you enter 1, the static block will be placed below the first paragraph of the original content. If you enter 2, it appears after the second paragraph, and so on. This gives you precise control over where your content appears. Think strategically about positioning. For introductory content or important announcements, position 0 or 1 works well. For mid-article CTA or additional information, consider higher numbers based on your article length. Rotation feature. Next, you have the rotation function. You can enable or disable this feature based on your needs. If you enable rotation, you can add multiple static blocks to this placement. The system will randomly display different blocks, similar to how we configured overlay rotation. After enabling rotation, use the plus button to add multiple static blocks. You can assign display percentages to control how frequently each block appears. Single static block configuration. If rotation is disabled, the configuration is simpler. Select one static block from the drop-down menu. You also have the option to add additional content in this section. This supplementary content will be combined with the main static block content when it displays on your site. This is useful if you want to add context-specific information to a general static block without creating an entirely new block. Location targeting. After configuring your block and rotation settings, choose the location targeting for your static block. You have 3 location options available. All subdomains displays the static block across all your subdomain pages. Selected subdomains gives you precise control to choose specific subdomains where the block should appear. And selected posts allows you to target individual posts or pages. When you select the selected posts option, additional filtering options become available at the right side. You can filter the posts using a keyword which are published before a specified date that you can select from here. Select the subdomains you want to include in your targeting. Now click the Search Posts button. This generates a list of posts matching your criteria. Select the specific posts where you want the static block to appear from the Select Posts box. I'll select only one post for this demonstration. After making all your configurations, review your settings to ensure everything is correct. When you're ready, click the Submit button to create your static block placement. Your placement is now active. Static Block Placements Dashboard. Let's look at the Static Block Placements dashboard. This is your central hub for managing all static block placements. All the placements you've created are listed here in a comprehensive table. You can see the title, tag, status, location, position number, and creation date for each placement. At the end of each row, you have quick access to edit and delete buttons. Use these to modify existing placements or remove ones you no longer need. This dashboard makes it easy to manage multiple static block placements across your entire site. Verifying static block display. Now let's verify that our static block is displaying correctly in the selected article. Here's the article we targeted. Let's examine the content. You can see the first paragraph here and the second paragraph below it. Now let's refresh the page to see if our static block appears as configured. Perfect. The static block is now visible after the first paragraph of the main article content, exactly as we configured it. The static block integrates seamlessly into the article flow, appearing as part of the natural content structure. You now know how to create static blocks, configure their position within articles, set up rotation if needed, target specific locations across your website, and verify that they're displaying correctly. Creating header and footer placements is straightforward and gives you powerful control over the appearance of your website pages. Let's dive in and see how to configure these placements effectively. The header-footer system has 2 main tabs. First tab is the Placements dashboard, where you can view and manage all your existing header-footer placements. The second tab is for creating new placements. Let's navigate to the Add and Edit Placement tab to create our first header-footer placement. You'll see a familiar placement creation form here, similar to what we've used for overlays and static blocks. Basic configuration. Start by adding a title for this placement. Choose a descriptive name that helps you identify the purpose of this header-footer combination. If needed, add a description and tags. These optional fields help you organize and categorize your placements for easier management later. Next, set the status of this placement. Just like with overlays and static blocks, you can choose between active or inactive from the drop-down menu. By default, new placements are set to inactive, so they won't appear on your site until you're ready to activate them. Adding header and footer code. Now let's add the actual header and footer content. You have two options for entering your content: the code editor for HTML and CSS, or the visual editor for plain text. For the header, enter your HTML code in the header box. This could be navigation menus, announcement bars, branding elements, or any custom HTML you want to appear at the top of your pages. For the footer, enter your HTML code in the footer box. This typically includes copyright information, additional navigation links, contact details, or any other content you want at the bottom of your pages. In this demonstration, I'm using code that displays a static message in the header. This message will remain visible while users scroll through the page. The footer code will display content at the bottom of the page. You can use the visual editor if you prefer to add simple text without HTML formatting. However, using the code editor gives you complete control over styling and functionality. Location targeting. Now let's select where this header-footer placement should appear. The location options are identical to what we covered in the overlay placement section. You can choose from whole site, root domain only, all subdomains, selected subdomains, or selected posts. For this demonstration, I'm selecting selected subdomains option to target specific subdomain pages. Let's select the Amazon subdomain from the subdomains list. This means our header and footer will only appear on pages within the Amazon subdomain. After completing all your configurations, review your settings to ensure everything is correct. When you're ready, click the Submit button to save this header-footer placement. Your placement is now saved and ready to use. Let's navigate back to the header-footer placements dashboard. To see our newly created placement, Header-Footer Placements Dashboard. Placements Dashboard is your central hub for managing all header-footer placements. You'll see a comprehensive table displaying all the placements you've created. Table shows the title, status, targeted location, creation date, and other relevant details for each placement. At the end of each row, you have quick access to edit and delete buttons. Use these to modify existing placements or remove ones you no longer need. This dashboard makes it easy to manage multiple header-footer configurations across different sections of your site. Now let's verify that our header and footer are displaying correctly on the selected subdomain. I've already opened a random article from the Amazon subdomain. This page was loaded before we saved the placement, so you can see it currently displays without our custom header and footer. Let's refresh the page to load the new header-footer placement. Perfect. It's working correctly. Let's examine the header first. The message we specified in the header code is now displaying at the top of the page. Notice how it remains visible as a static element. Now let's scroll to the bottom of the page to check the footer. Excellent! The footer is displaying perfectly at the bottom of the page, exactly as we configured it. This demonstrates the flexibility of the header-footer system. You can use any HTML and CSS code to create custom headers and footers that match your branding and functional requirements. Practical applications. The header-footer placement feature offers numerous practical applications for your website. For headers, you can create sticky navigation menus, announcement bars for promotions or important updates, trust badges, contact information, or social media links. For footers, you can add copyright notices, privacy policy links, sitemap navigation, newsletter sign-up forms, social media icons, or business contact details. The ability to target specific subdomains or posts means you can create different headers and footers for different sections of your site, providing a customized experience for different audiences or content categories. And that's everything you need to know about header and footer placements in Turbosubdomains. You now know how to create custom headers and footers, add HTML code or plain text, target specific locations on your site, and verify that your placements are displaying correctly. Let's now see the URL redirect feature. URL redirect is a powerful feature that allows you to redirect multiple posts containing specific keywords to a designated web page. You can filter posts by publication date and set up automated redirects based on post age. You can use redirects to manage seasonal content. For example, redirect old holiday promotion posts to current year promotions after a certain period. They're excellent for content consolidation. When you've updated or merged multiple posts into one comprehensive resource, redirect the old posts to the new location. This is particularly useful for managing expired content, seasonal promotions, or directing traffic from older posts to updated resources. Use redirects for expired offers or discontinued products. Instead of leaving visitors on outdated pages, guide them to current offerings. Redirects are also valuable for SEO management. When you're retiring old content, redirects help preserve link equity by sending traffic and search engine crawlers to relevant active pages. The scheduled redirect feature means you can set everything up in advance and let the system handle redirects automatically based on post age. Let's see how to configure URL redirects effectively. Navigate to the URL redirect tab within the content manipulation system. Click the Add New URL Redirect button in the top right corner of the screen. You'll see a configuration form with multiple options. If you've been following along with this series, most of these fields will look familiar. The interface is similar to what we use for backlink campaigns. For this demonstration, I've already filled in some fields to save time. Let's walk through each setting. Basic configuration. Start by entering a title for this redirect campaign. This works just like the campaign name we've seen in backlink campaigns. Choose a descriptive title that helps you identify the purpose of this redirect. Next, create or select a customer from the drop-down menu. I'm selecting one from the existing customers list. This helps you organize redirects by client or project. Add one or multiple tags as needed. Tags help you categorize and filter your redirect campaigns for easier management. Keyword and date filtering. Now let's configure the filtering criteria that determines which posts will be redirected. Enter a keyword in the keyword field. This is the key filtering mechanism. All posts containing this keyword will be eligible to be selected in the redirect campaign. You can enter multiple keywords if needed. Use the pipe symbol to separate different keywords. This gives you flexibility to target posts with various related terms. Next, select a date using the date picker. Only posts published before this date will be considered for the redirect. This is useful when you want to redirect older content while keeping newer posts accessible. You can add a description in the description field. If you want to document the purpose or details of this redirect campaign, this is optional but recommended for future reference. Redirect URL configuration. The next critical field is the redirect URL. This is the destination URL where all filtered posts will redirect visitors. Enter the complete URL where you want to send traffic. This could be an updated version of your content, a landing page, a product page, or any other destination that serves your strategy. All the selected posts that meet your filtering criteria will automatically redirect to this URL, providing a seamless experience for your visitors. Schedule after setting. The Schedule After field is a powerful feature that gives you precise control over redirect timing. This field accepts a number representing days after the post publication date. This determines when posts will start redirecting. Let me explain with an example. If you enter 5 in this field and there's a post published on June 27th, that post will start redirecting on July 2nd. That's 5 days after the original publication date. This feature is particularly useful for time-sensitive content. You can allow posts to remain active for a specific period before automatically redirecting them to updated or more relevant content. Selecting categories and posts. Selecting categories, subdomains, and specific posts works exactly the same way we've seen in backlink campaigns. You can filter by subdomain to narrow down your selection. Then choose specific posts that match your redirect criteria. For this demonstration, let me select a couple of posts for this redirect campaign. Take your time to select the right posts. You can use the search tag functionality to quickly find posts containing a specific tag. Once you've configured all settings, review your entries carefully. Make sure the keyword filter, date range, redirect URL, and selected posts are all correct. When everything looks good, click the Generate URL Redirect button to activate your redirect campaign. Your redirect campaign is now active. The system will automatically redirect the selected posts according to your configuration. Now let's verify that our redirect campaign is working correctly. Navigate back to the URL Redirect dashboard. You'll see your newly created redirect campaign listed here. Click the number link in the Total URLs column. This shows you all the posts included in this redirect campaign. Now click on one of the posts to open it and test the redirect. Perfect. Post is redirecting to the YouTube site, exactly as we configured. The redirect happens automatically and seamlessly, providing a smooth experience for visitors. URL Redirect Dashboard. Let's take a closer look at the URL Redirect Dashboard. This is your central hub for managing all redirect campaigns. The dashboard displays a comprehensive table with all your active redirect campaigns. You can see the campaign title, associated customer, categories or subdomains selected, keywords used for filtering, target URL, and total number of redirected URLs. You have quick access to edit and delete options for each campaign. This makes it easy to modify redirect settings or remove campaigns that are no longer needed. Best practices. When implementing URL redirects, follow these best practices for optimal results. Always redirect to relevant content. The destination URL should provide value to visitors who were seeking the original content. Use descriptive titles and tags for your redirect campaigns. This makes management easier, especially when you have multiple active campaigns. Monitor your redirect campaigns regularly. Check the dashboard to ensure redirects are functioning as intended. Be strategic with the schedule after setting. Consider your content lifecycle and user behavior when deciding how long posts should remain active before redirecting. Test your redirects after creation. As we did in this demonstration, verify that posts are redirecting to the correct destination. Final words. In this video, we've covered overlays for engaging pop-up displays, static blocks for in-content insertions, header and footer customization for site-wide branding, and URL redirects for intelligent traffic management. You now have the complete toolkit to manipulate and optimize your content presentation across your entire Turbosubdomains network. These features work together to give you unprecedented control over how your content appears and functions, allowing you to create sophisticated, automated content strategies that drive results. Thank you for watching this tutorial video. If you have questions or need additional support, please don't hesitate to reach out. See you in the next video.